Hello? Hello? I'm selling cookies. Your front door was open. Hello?
Help me.
Hello?
No. Quick. I need help.
Where are you?
Over here.
Where?
Just over here.
Over here is just not helping.
Behind you.
Where are you?
Behind the door.
Is there anyone else in this house?
Is the bad man dead?
I don't know.
Oh, good. That bad man locked me in here. I need your help. The lock. You need the keys.
Okay. Say something.
Something.
Can I hear you from behind me?
I'm speaking to you from the radio. I just need a little bit more help. Please.
Can you speak to me?
It's hard. Every day I'm reminded of him. It doesn't help that Sam has his eyes. I bought Sammy a radio. I just thought it would help him. Give him something to listen to other than... other than his own thoughts. All we have anymore is our thoughts. And I know he must think of him as much as I do. There's just a massive hole. And I don't know what to do. He's been having nightmares. Almost every night. Pretty sure it's every night. I refuse to wake up. I didn't sign on to do this alone. I don't think that I can.
Tragedies happen. And you can't prepare for them. And they happen when you least expect it. There is nothing that can be said to heal this emptiness you feel. But what you can do is know that with time, the pain will never fade. It'll still be just as strong. But you'll get better at managing it. And that's a good thing. If his life didn't mean anything to you, you wouldn't care as much. So I think you should embrace the pain. Just don't let it consume you.
It's been a long time, but I remember it well. Just like the photo we keep on the shelf. Oh, we were young. Oh, we were young. Damn it.
Vacation's over. We had a good time. Nothing crazy about the drive home. Just look at this barn. Have you not seen a more beautiful work of art? Come with me.
Hello? Hello?
1 minute. Son of a... Can I help you? Excuse me.
Oh, hi. Are you a relative of Joe's?
Yeah. I'm his son.
Oh. I didn't know he had a son.
Guess that figures. Must have slipped his mind. And you are?
I'm Susan. I'm a neighbor. Grandpa Joe. That's what we used to call him. We used to sit on this porch every evening and chat. Here. I thought you might know where these belong.
Thanks. I guess y'all kept him quite busy out here.
Oh no. He used to just stay in there.
Yeah. He didn't seem to care about much else, did he?
He did care about not letting people in his house. He used to joke about or say that there was a monster in his basement.
I'm sorry, was there a reason that you stopped by?
I just came to bring you something.
What's this?
I don't know. He gave them to me a few days before, you know.
Well, thank you.
Oh, real quick. Did they ever find that animal that was attacking that little girl before?
No, I mean, not that I know of.
I just can't stand the idea of something prowling around the neighborhood. Well, bye.
Well, it's feeding time again. Think I'm gonna have to pick up some drifter. I hate to do it, but it says it won't touch plenty if I do.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4.
Mom? Sammy? Sam, we can't keep doing this. I bought you this radio to help you. And I'm so thrilled that you have such an active imagination. When you're in the hall, wetting yourself, we need to find a better solution. Do you understand? I can only do so much. At a certain point, it has to come from you. You have to decide to conquer all of this. Do you understand what I mean by all this? If you need something, anything, you can always come to me. You know that, right? I hurt too. You don't have to hurt alone. We hurt together. I love you. All right, get some sleep.
Thanks, Chester.
Kim, stop.
I don't know what it is or why it chose me. Came by me, I guess would be better wordage. It just showed up. Trying to haunt me, I guess. Didn't help. There was already enough demons in these closets. I guess I understand a lot about it, but also not a lot. How it gets into your thoughts, your mind, your dreams. More like your nightmares. I don't know, but my heart hurts here. I've been doing this and I can't see my kid. I can't be with anybody. I've also been wrong. It consumes something else. It needs to feed on the fear that it creates in your brain. I've been starving it so far. I think it's dying.
No, give me 20 minutes. I'll be right there. No, I'm prepared. I don't need to take a sick day. Okay, give me 5 minutes. I had some family issues last night. Okay, I'm sorry. It won't happen again. All right, I gotta go. Just make sure to lock all the doors and call if you need anything, okay?
Well, it's feeding time again. think I'm gonna have to pick up some drifters. I hate to do it, but it says it won't touch Clint if I do.
Hey,
Hello?
I'm over here. You're Sammy, right? Over here.
Who's there?
Me, I'm over here. Across the sea he waits, until he waits no more.
Hello?
There you are. I'm over here.
You? A radio?
No, that's silly. I'm talking to you through it. I'm trapped and I need your help.
Why are you trapped?
This really bad man put me in a room. It's so dark in here. I'm afraid I can't get out and I have nothing to eat. I'm so scared.
No one can hear you?
No. Only through this.
Well, maybe when Mom gets home.
No! No! Stay away! No! There's someone at the door trying to get in. I need help. I need help. Do you think you could do this for me? Sneak in and open the door?
I don't know.
It's in here with me.
What is?
Have you seen it? a monster. She comes out at night. You've seen it, haven't you? Does she keep getting closer and closer? She does for me. She tells me that one day she's going to get right up on my bed. And on that day, I'll be gone, taken away for good.
I have seen her.
Is she there? I know how to make her go away. Come get me. She's there, isn't she? You should hurry. I know how to stop her. Sammy? Sammy? You need to go so we can stop her.
Oh. Hi. Come on in. What brings you around here?
I found some belongings at my dad's house and was wanting to see if you could help me find the rightful owner.
What did you find?
Some paperwork, amongst some other things, but it had the name Chester on there. Does that name sound familiar to you at all?
Who?
Chester.
I don't know anybody by that name. There's nobody on the street named Chester.
Hi, Chester. Those keys you gave me the other day, where do they go to?
They were your father's.
No, you know what they go to. What's down there?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do not lie to me. I've seen the tapes.
What tapes?
I saw what my dad did to those people. How he tortured them in his little dungeon.
Your father came and he handed me the keys and gave me an address. And then he left. And of course, after his passing, I didn't think it was necessary. He came in all worried, and he was really pale. He wrote down this address and handed it to me. That was the last time I ever saw your father. And that's all I know.
Sam? What do you want for dinner? Sammy? Sam? Sammy? 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 Are you in the laundry room again?
Hey, Randy.
He's gone.
Who's gone?
He's not in the house.
Calm down. Who's gone?
Sam. Sammy's gone.
Are you sure you've checked the whole house?
I don't know. No, I haven't.
Okay, just look around the house. I'm on my way over.
Okay.
Just look at this barn. Have you not seen a more beautiful work of art? Well, these are the safeguards I plan on using against her for now. I didn't know what to call it at first. I was being rather vague. But she'd been using the voice of my ex-wife. So, with that, I just call it her for now. I never put anyone in front of it. Just kept them away. Alone with the radio. It seemed to manifest a fear of people through that. Fear. I think it consumes that. Chester? I use a radio to communicate with her. She doesn't seem to be able to communicate clearly otherwise. Mostly just grunts and howls. It's through the radio that I can hear her voice clearly.
What do you think you're doing, kid?
I don't know. He's chasing me.
What are you doing in my house?
After me. It's in there.
Whatever you do, never open that door. Do you understand me? We never open that door. Do you know your phone number? Okay? Hey. Let's call your parents, okay? Hey. You okay? Let's get you out of here.
What is it that you want?
I don't want anything.
How is it that you can get into my mind and show me my fears?
It's not me, is it? It's your fears. Just wake them up.
What would you do if I let you out?
Sam, what is this? What are you doing over here?
I tried to lead it away.
Thank you for finding him.
It's not a problem.
What was he doing?
I have no idea. The kid snuck into my house with that old radio.
Why? Why did you bring your radio?
It told me to. It said to drive it away.
Wait a second. Haven't I met you before?
I don't know.
That's it. You bought that old radio for me at a garage sale.
The one right by my house. I did buy one.
That's my house. Did you say that radio told you to bring it here? You two need to get out of here. Right now. Go.
Excuse me, sir? Is everything all right?
Good show! That's the stuff there. Nearly 2 decades of starving, brought down by one measly child and his fear of the dark. What a plague! What will happen next? Is it walking off into the sunset? Or utter chaos? Chaos! I just wanted to be friends. Do you like what I've become? I'm someone else's nightmare now. Would you like to see? Would you like me to be yours? My friend.
Hey, I'm sorry for whatever made you run away. I'm sorry. guy was weird, wasn't he? Hey, why don't we stay up playing or watching anything you want? It's your choice.
Can we get something to eat?
Hey, sorry that took me so long. I came straight from the office and there were a ton of accidents on the way. Did you find Sam? Brandy? Sammy? Brandy? Brandy? Anyone home? Sammy? It's Aunt Heather. Brandy? Are you home?
You see where I called home for too long. Come join me in my pain. I've seen your dreams.
Must have tripped the breaker.
Heather? Heather?
Just the other day, a beast with multiple arms and rows of teeth. It was you, wasn't it? You become my nightmare, haven't you? This is you, isn't it? But it's not real. Only you're real. You've become my nightmare. Think I could be afraid of you? I know too much. Radios, conduit to project yourself, get out of the line. But it's not real. Only you're real. I don't think so. What are you gonna do? You know what? I'm gonna end this little experiment. Let's see what you're afraid of.
Why do you try to waken memory? Why talk about the days that used to be? You say you love me, but you know that's not true. It was the love that you threw away.
Chester is? Tell me!
He's across the street, 2 doors down. He's heavily armed. Please don't hurt me.
You better not be lying to me.
Who is it?
Saying is we have to somehow lure this thing. I mean, why can't we just shoot it?
It's not like that. There's something that keeps it alive.
Keeps it alive? How? How's that even possible?
I don't know. It feeds off fear. Your father knew all about it. I just did what he said.
So shooting it does absolutely nothing.
You can wound it, but when it sheds through a new nightmare, it fully heals itself.
Okay. Then that's what we're gonna do.
As far as you can.
Don't be shy. I know you can't be dead.
man går ner och för att inte ögat skulle gå i kras men de tittar upp på solen genom sotans glas.
You like my room? I didn't. It went on for way too long. How long do you want to be here? I can make it last for a while.
Let's not make this last too long.
But I want you to be happy before you die. Do you want to see anyone? Maybe dear old Bob?
Is that the best you can do? Huh? Play make-believe?
Do it!
It's your new home.